All right, let's dig in a little bit deeper and look at what's going on when we have more than just two simple statements. For the record, we're not going to go above three simple statements for the purposes of this course, so it doesn't get too much worse. Anyway, so one of the examples that shows up in the PowerPoint slides posted in Moodle says, if I study hard and ace the final, then I don't fail my class. Something along those lines. I probably got the exact wording off, but you get the idea. So this time around, we actually need to take the English sentence and turn it into a symbolic statement. So here's my plan. So I'm going to shorthand these just in the interest of time, but so we're going to need three simple statements, like I said. First, I study hard. Statement Q, I ace the final. Again, if you wanted to use different letters for these, like S for study, A for ace, or whatever, that's fine. I just tend to be conventional and boring. And then we have statement R sitting at the end. It says I don't fail the course or won't fail the course. That's okay. I usually express my simple statements in the positive. So, well, it's okay if you have it phrased a little bit differently if you're not given a symbolic structure in the first place. But yeah, so the statement R I'm going to call not just failing the course, and then that means I'm going to need to work a negation into my symbolic statement. So now I need to translate this. It says if I study hard and ace the final. So we got the keyword if indicating a conditional. So we're going to need a conditional. And then we see and, that's a conjunction. It's a conjunction of studying and acing the final. So we have P and Q implies the then is then I won't fail the course. That's the negation of this guy right here. So we have P and Q implies not R. Now, in order to sketch out a truth table for this, I have to do something that I've been trying real hard to avoid all the time I've been posting these videos to YouTube. Jump cuts. You have no idea how much that hurt me to have to do that. Anyway, I needed to get the truth table set up, and I didn't want to waste recording time with you just watching me methodically erase and then painstakingly write this table up here. You'll notice it's gotten bigger. I'm sorry, I love you guys, but in order to cover all of our bases in terms of possible permutations of true and false values, we need more rows in the table now. So you'll notice we've gone from 4 rows with 2 simple statements to 8 rows in total with 3 simple statements. In general, each time you add a simple statement, you get a double the number of rows. So that's not a test question. But so now we're going to put together a truth table for this thing. We've got 3 separate things that we really need to handle here. So I'm going to do them in this order. So I'm going to go ahead and do the P and Q part first. If you wanted to follow what I've said before precisely and do negation of R, that's fine. But at this point, I need P and I need Q. I can temporarily ignore that the R column is there completely. And as we've said before, a conjunction is true when, that's right, both of them are true. That happens here, that happens here, and it doesn't happen again anywhere else down here. We have at least one false in one of those 2 rows all the way down. So, and if you need to work through it row by row, that's perfectly fine. There's no judgment here. So, all right, I've got the left-hand side of that big conditional from before. Now, I'm going to put together the right-hand side, negation of R. This one is, again, since we're breaking this into tiny chunks, not too painful. We focus on this R column right here. If you want to mark it with an arrow, fill your boots. But what I'm going to have to do is flip-flop all my true-false values again. So this T becomes an F, the F underneath becomes a T, etc. So okay, got that. So now we've got the left-hand side of the conditional, we've got the right-hand side of the conditional. Now it's just a matter of bringing it home. We put them together with the conditional arrow. All right, so now here's where I kind of wish I'd done the 1-2 thing, but at least I'm using a capital R again. If you're careful with it, it's okay to do the arrows. I just find it straightforward. Anyway, true implies false. That is our false condition. So you get a false there, True implies true. That one's true. False implies false. True. False implies true. It's true. False implies false. Again, still true. False implies true. Yeah, you get the idea. We've already done that one. False implies false. Third verse, same as the first. And false implies true one last time. So coming back to try to answer the original question, if our student is wondering, in what circumstances that original sentence would have been false, the only time it happens, again, I promise I'm not doing this on purpose, but if they study hard, they ace the final, but they still end up failing the course, because remember, that's what our simple statement R was. That's the only scenario in which what the person said was a false statement. That's one example down. Let's take a look at one more. And through the magic of internet, the board's erased. Sorry, I really, really dislike jump cuts. Anyway, so the other sentence that I give you in the PowerPoint slide says something about if we don't make the playoffs, then either we lost or the Giants won. So we'll work that out symbolically in a sec, but I'm going to take a moment here. You have no idea how much it hurts me to write down Giants won. I am a diehard Dodgers fan, and yeah. If I weren't short on video time, I'd start telling you stories, but we got work to do, right? So our simple statements here, again, we're going to need 3 of them. So my first simple statement, again, I like to factor out the nots and work them in as negations. If you said don't make playoffs, it's okay. It is going to change how the table ends up looking. But anyway, so making playoffs, statement P. Statement Q, we lost. I'll leave off the today again, just in the interest of time. And then R, I feel shooting pains in my wrist as I write this. I mean, it's awful, really. So P, make playoffs. Q, we lost today. R, I'm not going to say it again. You can read it. Now, if we translate this symbolically, it says if we don't make the playoffs. That's going to be the negation of P. And then we have, it says either, the key thing there we really want to look at is the or. So it says either we lost or the other thing. So it's going to look like that. Again, if you wanted to play around with this, sometimes I've had students who say they only want to talk about winning because they think of losing as like a negation. That's fair. But this is what I'm going to roll with for our simple statement. So now we need another truth table to figure out what exactly is going on. It's kind of tingly. Anyway, again, I've got this set up. Do not stress about memorizing this arrangement. This does cover all the bases, but you will have it handy if need be. You can, if need be, write it down one good time or screen cap this or something. They said you don't have to memorize this. Please don't waste neural connections on that. Anyway, so working our way down the line. I'll go ahead and chunk this into the pieces I'm going to use. So I've got the negation of P, so twiddle P up there. Q or R for that disjunction floating around the other side. And then we'll have the conditional that hooks it all up at the end. Again, the negation of the things to do, that's usually the one folks are super comfortable with compared to everything else. I just take the column here for statement P and I flippity flop. So false, 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 true, 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 true. Okay. Now, the next guy has a disjunction. I need Q, I need R. Okay? Okay. A disjunction is true when at least one true shows up. We have at least one true here. Same here. And here. But not on this guy. So that one comes out as false. Again, the cycle actually repeats at this point, true or true. It's true. We've got one true. We've got one true. Oops, no trues. So that's our setup now. All right. Now, again, we hook them up with a conjunction. So now let me get rid of these arrows because I don't need you guys anymore. This is my L. This is my R for the representative sides of the thing. False implies true. That is true. False implies true. Well, we just did it. We've got 2 more of the exact same guy here. So I can copy pasta. False implies false. Yep, that one is true. We've got 3 in a row where we have true implies true. Bada bing, bada boom. Lastly, true implies false. Buzz, bat, whatever you want to do. So there's what our truth table looks like for this guy. So the only circumstances the original sentence is false is down here, where all 3 component simple statements were false. So in this case, we failed to make the playoffs, because again, remember, P was making the playoffs. Even though we won today, because Q was we lost, and the Giants lost. We need all 3 of those things to be false in order for the compound statement to come out false in the end. So I've got one more thing I want to take a look at here, so we'll have one more video on truth tables, and then we're going to change gears-ish